Ale, 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 Alejandro Garnacho. Go and sing his name. Go and sing his name. Garnacho. At Villa Park, he'll bring the spark. Alejandro Garnacho. I just got that feeling. He might just be the one. He might just be the dynamic game changer. It's the Aston Villa versus Manchester United preview. Welcome to the Football Power Hour. Alejandro Garnacho, man, you deserve them flowers from the last game. I didn't give grades, I didn't give flowers, so I gotta give them to you right now. So, Alejandro, I hope you get your chance in the World Cup. Just as a sub, to go as a sub, just to travel with the team. The line is very long in that Argentina front line, to be honest. So I just hope you just get a chance to go to Qatar and just experience the atmosphere and practice with another GOAT. Maybe you never know. There might be an injury situation. Who knows, Alejandro? But them flowers gotta go to you, man. Oh, that was a beautiful goal. You got that direct. You got that cunning. You got that very, very aggressive, in your face type of attitude and gameplay. You're almost like right now. You're playing like that boy Somerville from Leeds. That's a player to look out for. Just keep an eye on. Let me just say for now, to keep an eye on. 3 games in a row now, scoring. And remember the last game versus Liverpool. And now he bailed out Jesse Marsh again. Woo-wee. But anyway, enough of Somerville. We talking Alejandro Garnacho. Boy, this boy is such an exciting prospect. I have, ever since number 11, I haven't been excited really about any young player from Manchester United. So thank you for bringing that spark back. I really hope you get your chance to start, at least to play tomorrow. But anyway, or in a few hours. But before we talk about that, this preview pretty much is going to be a bit of a 2-part situation because, I didn't do a sound check on the previous video, and I try to do a little trimming and it's just like all really messed up. But like I'm just gonna quickly just sum up the atrocious scenes that we saw today, where pretty much Marco Silva. It was a Marco Silva rant. I went on a Marco Silva rant that pretty much was not recorded. or you know what I mean? So anyway, so Marco Silva pretty much owes a lot of people apologies. Marco Silva had a golden situation. Any coach, any manager, any football fan, anybody that has a passion for the game would have been dreaming of the situation that Marco Silva was in, that fell into Marco Silva's lap on the 26th minute. Cancelo got a red card. You have a big chunk of the first half to see how you're playing against the 10-man versus Manchester City, and you have a golden opportunity to have a team talk, 15-minute talk with your guys and tell them this is what we need to do to find solutions. But Marco Silva bottled it. Marco Silva could not make it to the fountain and drink. Marco Silva was just like, I smell the Nando's, but I won't taste the Nando's. And there goes the Nando's. Oh, Marco Silva, man. You know how many times I tweeted as if you following me on Twitter? well, my whatever 300 or whatever followers on Twitter, like, oh, I was like, Marco Silva, release the handbrake, Marco Silva. Marco Silva, only 20, like first half. Second half, I'm like, Marco Silva, release the handbrake. The kids are playing too cautious, Marco Silva. Marco Silva did not listen. Marco Silva does not follow me on Twitter. Marco Silva played too cautious. And guess what? He lost the 3 points. They were right there for the taking. He was out here trying to settle for a draw. I here trying to play too. Man, Marco Silva, you pretty much helped the fraudulent one rebrand the English Premier League. Now, the P in Premier League now stands for Pep Guardiola. Now, I don't know how you feel about it, but this is not looking good. I'm almost now starting to almost just want anybody, any team, anybody, please come take this league away from Pep. You saw what he did with the water bottle at the end of the game on the camera? He was like, ah! Like, come on now. Pep trolling us now. Pep out here like, wow, what y'all gonna do about, Marco Silva, you have to apologize to Arteta. You have to apologize to Antonio Conte. You have to apologize to Eric Ten Hag. You have to apologize to Eddie Howe. You have to look him in the eye and say, big man, I am so sorry. I apologize. You could have left the Premier League race open. This was a golden opportunity, man. Anyway, all right. And this is not supposed to be a Marco Silva rant reloaded. This is just like, but I'm really emotional about this because there is always that one game, that turning point game for Manchester City. I referenced the Man United game that they had 2 seasons ago. There was they always start slow, and then there is that like game that like it could sort of like dissolve or go down south, a little bit, and like really sort of delay the momentum from starting. But then they just kind of somehow you're gonna let Haaland be a plug and play. You're gonna let Haaland come in here and just kind of pick up from where he left off. Marco Silva, man, you deserve to you really ought to apologize, because anybody would dream to play 10 versus 11 at the Etihad. Wow. Golden chance. Golden opportunity. If there's anything to learn from this weekend, is not to be the Marco Silvas of today. If you have a chance to go and reach for that top fruit right there, reach for it. Don't go for the middle fruit. Don't go for that like easy choice out. No. The moment, in whatever situation you're in, you could be at school, you could be at work, you could be, trying to do in between those two things, those two worlds. You have to reach higher. You can't settle for mediocre. Otherwise, you're going to end up being the Marco Silva of today. Now, really quickly, let's just sum up what we were talking about in that game. Like, I feel like, okay, so the people that deserve special mention, Kevin De Bruyne has showed another dimension to his game. I mean, we know that he's a quality midfielder, but he proved once again that he's the spine for Manchester City. We saw the difference. I mean, we can even go back to sort of that time when Real Madrid was playing Manchester City in the Champions League, and Manchester City pretty much had the game in the bag. And Kevin De Bruyne got substituted. I mean, that's not the only reason. I mean, Real Madrid also went into gear 6, but or gear 7 or 8, whatever, however you look at it. But the main thing is Kevin De Bruyne is the metronome of Manchester City. And the moment when now Haaland is now clicking with the metronome in a way that's so dangerous, but it's also not so reliable, because I'm sitting out here trying to figure out how to stop City. Okay? Solution number 1. We have to deport Haaland. Now, there gotta be a Homeland Security, Immigration Services, whatever. We have to go through Haaland's papers, the application forms, everything. There's gotta be a discrepancy somewhere. There's gotta be like a little faux pas somewhere. We have to investigate thoroughly and see what the situation is. Because he's just picked up where he left off, and it's not looking too good, bruv. It's really looking horrible. Now, situation number 2. We pretty much have to give Kevin De Bruyne, Kevin DB COVID. Now, I don't know how, but that is the way. I don't know how to execute that. I don't want him to be injured, to fall really ill. It's just one of those things where we just need him to miss a few days of critical games, especially the one versus Manchester United. All the Manchester United fixtures, be a cup game or the return leg. We just need Kevin De Bruyne to have COVID. Now, another situation is what is sort of is happening in the Manchester City fan base right now. A lot of Manchester City fans are not happy with Cancelo. Now, we have to figure out how to do the divide and conquer so that they cancel Cancelo and start yelling, Cancelo out, Cancelo gotta, you know what I mean, be sold. And if that happens, then we stand a chance. Only then we stand an opportunity. We see a real opportunity where somebody could actually challenge Manchester City and be like, hey, you guys are actually fragile. They look like a different team when Kevin De Bruyne is not there, when Cancelo is not there, and also suffocate Silva. I will not write that down for legal reasons, but also it is, whether you do it literally or on the field, like you have to sort of just like, figure out how to cancel Silva and cancel Cancelo, suffocate Silva passing lanes, and cancel Cancelo on the field. That's the only way. These 1, 2, 3, 4. I know I didn't write Silva down, but those 4 integral pieces are the pieces that keep Manchester City ticking. Now, Kevin De Bruyne could have really overworked himself in this game because he was running. Pace is not an attribute that you normally, would say is a Kevin De Bruyne attribute, but he actually did a couple of ball rolls and pushing the ball forward and getting past 2 players. He actually, not only once, he did that a few times. Kevin De Bruyne is somebody that is actually elevating his game to another level. And if Belgium go far in Qatar, Kevin De Bruyne is putting his name in contention for that Ballon d'Or. But anyway, moving on from KDB, we just gotta just say props for you winning that penalty and just pretty much, if that Haaland chance was just very, very, very marginal. It was, you know, you know how thick the VAR line that they were using that day. So pretty much that chance that you created, the penalty that you created, you're pretty much carrying Manchester City right now, KDB and Kevin De Bruyne. And I want to see you go far. You're a midfielder that deserves respect. A lot of people talk BS about you, but as a Manchester United fan, I just have to call and say, hey, you're an amazing midfielder. Keep doing the good work. Cancelo, I talked about Cancelo getting there, a little bit of that Van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold curse of sort of almost, what's the word? He's sort of like slowing down and showing that he's really human, and showing that he's really, he's prone to making mistakes sometimes. Now there's people that said, all right, he made a mistake versus Spurs twice last season. He made a mistake versus Salah this season. But Pep keeps on backing him. And hey, Pep, back your guy. But all I'm going to say is, like, you could solve that situation, Pep, by just simply getting a proper left back and then doing what? Playing Cancelo on the left of the midfield. What's wrong with that? Figure out a way to make it technically work so Cancelo doesn't getting caught out. But anyway, whatever it is, it's great as long as the Manchester City fan base is divided, and then that division permeates the team, and then then we win as Manchester United fans. So that's just how I feel about it. But that evil form purple patch thing that's spreading like COVID. I mean, it was a Son too, a little bit, and many other players that you would expect. Even Grealish, you could argue Grealish has actually got that purple. Grealish is just a ball carrier. That's pretty much what he does. And we're going to just leave it right there and be like, the man needs to be more productive, at least right now. Maybe he will be in the future, but right now he's just looking like a ball carrier to me. And moving on from that is like we have to talk about the fact that now I saw the replay, and the replay of that Kevin De Bruyne, and is it oh man, I feel it might be like whatever his name is, the left back for the Fulham left back, who pretty much left his leg hanging, and and Kevin De Bruyne made a meal of that. He really made a meal of that. If you look at the replay, woo-wee! But then you gotta be like, okay, if it works for Manchester City's favor, so as a neutral, as a biased neutral, I'm making up new terms today. But as a biased neutral who was watching that Fulham versus Man City game at the Etihad, like I thought Kevin De Bruyne made a meal out of that, and it should not have been a penalty. Now, other people feel different about it, fair enough, but you got to see the replay a couple of times, and I hope that there's more angles provided, because I feel like there's only one or two, but there's got to be more cameras, right? It's the Premier League after all. Anyway, moving on to that is like the fact that Alvarez struck that ball was such sublime. The first goal that Manchester City scored, big up to Alvarez for that. So, he pretty much is ahead of Garnacho in the line. So, but I pray and sincerely hope that Garnacho gets a little sniff at just like at least traveling with the squad and practicing with them in the World Cup. So it just adds to your, the same experience right now. If you're comparing Elanga and Garnacho, right? Obviously in form and performance right now, Garnacho is like above Elanga. But Elanga has got more experience, especially in the Premier League, than Garnacho. and even in the cups, Alanga is the one who bailed us out versus Atletico Madrid in the first leg in the Champions League. He scored that really meaningful goal. He scored the header versus Wolves last year. He scored very, very important goals for Manchester United, especially under Ralf Rangnick. And he's got a lot more experience than Garnacho. But Garnacho, it feels like the ceiling is way higher. The ceiling is looking way better, and the boy deserves a chance. So please, and I'll play the boy on the right. He's got a right foot. Good evening. Well, okay. Before we finish, let's just wrap up the Fulham Manchester City bit, and we're gonna actually just say that Andres Pereira, big up to you. I gotta give you your flowers for scoring that penalty. But William, where was your Arsenal experience? Where was the experience from Chelsea in the Premier League? You know how it is. You just look like a scaled down Jack Grealish right now, William. Aren't you not trying to play in the World Cup? I know the Rodrigos and the Viniciuses are way, way ahead of you, but come on. You had a chance to give the manager something to think about in the final selections. Be like, I deserve a little boarding pass. I deserve to be like Garnacho and at least train with them dudes. Come on, William, man. So disappointing. So disappointing. That's all I'm going to say again. And the last question that I have to say is just, man, I was so intrigued by that game, the Fulham versus Manchester City game, mainly because I wanted Manchester City to lose. And by the time when Manchester City scored, I was just about to turn off and be like, whatever, this is going to be a routine win. And then next thing you know, they get the red card. And I'm like, oh, this is different, But then, it was such a beautiful, beautiful tactical observational experience for me to watch how Manchester City can still dictate a game with one player less. Now, the last time I checked, football is 11 versus 11. And there's a question to be asked, does Pep need another player when he's playing low-level teams, mid-table teams? Does he need to have a full 11? The answer is no. He did it from minute 27 to minute 95. And walked away with the 3 points. How, Sway? We're not even going to bring up that one. Because, you know why. But Pep, you're turning this into the English Pep Guardiola League. And that is amazing to watch. And I'm so jealous also. At the beginning, I remember when you came, we got Mourinho, they got Pep. And I was like, let's see who gonna win. But man, Pep Guardiola out here running away with this thing. Why couldn't they have been the ones that got Mourinho and we got Pep? Imagine. Could have Pep made it work with the Glazers? Could he at least would have showed him something? That would have been like, okay, here's the checkbook, Could he? Could he though? Oh, man. It was the thing that I really, really want to highlight was Nathan. Nathan Ake was attacking that left channel. He created a brand new position today that I want to coin attacking center back. He was a false center back. He was an attacking center back on the left. Attacking left. No, it's not even attacking left center back because that means it's left attacking center back. That was his role. Now, Maguire's position was attacking right center back. I guess that's what Ten Hag was trying. But versus Real Sociedad, by the way. But anyway, we're not even going to talk about that game. But let's go back to just like saying that it was just such a beautiful game to see, and I hope that we have to figure out and talk about tactically and practice what do we do when we are one player down, because right now, Eric Ten Hag has mastered this, or rather not mastered, but he's resorted to or evolved his tactics to this mid-block, very compact, very difficult to penetrate or get clear chances against Manchester, and still hits you with a quick attacking transitional play to get the goal from you. We're pretty much kind of like playing attacking, counter-attacking football, even though we're in a mid-block situation, and we don't take our times to really, really cook our attacks. But tomorrow is going to be, or in a few hours, it's going to be very interesting to see, because I guess at this point we might as well just segue to the game or to the preview. So my take is that we are going to pretty much have a lot of the ball. We're pretty much going to be given a lot of the ball, because Unai Emery is obviously going to be trying to focus on organizing that defense. That's the first thing that you have to do when you come in. You have to build this foundation and be like, how does it look? This is how I want it to look. And a lot of his attention will be focused on that. And I believe Alejandro will be right there. And he's going to get a little sniff, because we're going to have a lot of the ball. We're going to have the chance to pretty much play mostly in the opposition, in the opposition half. And because Victor Lindelof played really well, he's the best replacement for Varane, hands down, right? Because Maguire sort of makes the defense look so weirdly sloppy and shaky. But Victor Lindelof and I feel like he's just only going to just kind of just get into his rhythm if he keeps playing with Martinez and figure out his chemistry, and only it'll get better, So that's a good replacement or good rotational center back to have, and I'm glad and grateful for Victor. And he low-key might actually get a goal for us tomorrow. Who knows? I'm gonna make a bold claim. But before that, we'll get to the predictions. But what I wanna highlight is the fact that the way we are gonna play is going to be helped a lot by how Good Evening is going to set up his team. We know he loves his 4-4-2. We know he's very defensive. We know that we're going to have chances to cross the ball into the box. And we know we are lacking. We are down 2 A batteries in the form of Anthony Dos Santos and Anthony Martial. Like he may have been training or kind of coming to the pitch, coming to Carrington this week, but he's not match sharp and match, in rhythm, so Ronaldo automatically as a senior attacker gets a nod. Rashford as an informed senior, he's now senior. He's not 25 a few days ago, so he's now senior. I mean, he's been senior with the experience that he had, though. But those two guys are already up there. So it's a question of is he going to go for that weird thing where it was Rashford sort of playing as a 10 right behind Ronaldo situation? Or is he going to put Rashford on the left? And if you put Rashford on the left where he's most comfortable, that means Garnacho, which his secondary position is on the right. Garnacho is a right-footed player. He can use that right foot and whip a cross in. He He'll definitely beat Luca Digne. Is it Cash? No, it's Digne on that side, on the left. So he just has to just beat that guy and whip across him for Ronaldo 3 times. That's all that he has to be practicing. So Eric, the game plan is set, my guy. We just cracked it for you. So anyway, all right. Let's see how the team sets up. But the point that I was trying to drive at is the fact that like the way Unai Emery is going to set up will probably favor us a lot, and we are going to see the chance. We're going to see if our squad is going to be the villains at Villa Park or the visions of Villa Park. We have a chance. Top 4 is there for the taking. Top 4 looking pretty. Top 4 is be like, hey, come over here now. And we're like, huh? Top 4 is like, you know that scene in Dumb and Dumber where the girls in a bus are like, yo, we're just looking for 2 guys that could hop in a bus and join us for whatever, you know. And those guys are like, yeah. I think we've seen some guys. If you guys just drive straight down and keep going, yeah. You see some top 4 candidates over there. We can't be those guys. Please, let's not be Dumb and Dumber and dumbest Manchester United tomorrow. Pretty much like all the other fixtures don't affect. This is a special weekend. The fixture, if you know what's happening in a few hours, you will understand that it's going to be very, very, very tasty. Chelsea's playing Arsenal, right? And right after that game, another game that we going to definitely watch is the Spurs versus Liverpool. Ooh! Tasty fixtures that all we have to do is make sure that we win versus Villa. And we're going to be comparatively better. We're going to be in a situation that is so much better. Looking at Liverpool being like, hey, you know what I mean? Oh. Anyway, we have a very good away record at Villa Park. So we're looking at the away record or history versus new manager bounce, right? It's no secret. We need another marker. It's no secret. Any team that gets a new manager has to go on a honeymoon. It has to have a little manager spark, manager bounce. It's pretty much that chance where you get the new boss and they are like, yo, can you photocopy this? And you're like, okay. I did 2 copies. One is double-sided and one is single-sided. I didn't know which one you wanted. You know what I mean? You're going to go the extra mile in everything. And that actually might be the good thing or a bad thing for Man United, depending on how you look at it. Because maybe the boss might be like, double-sided? Why you making extra? You wasting motherfucking paper. That is bad for the environment, and it backfires on you, you know? Or it might be one of those things where the boss is like, oh, so thoughtful of you. I actually wanted, one where I could make notes on once, you know what I mean? So you just never know. But one thing for sure that is that some people are going to be giving a lot of effort. So it's like, is that effort going to be applied in the wrong areas? That's the point that I'm trying to draw with this like weird analogy. But anyway, so new manager bounce. I strongly feel. Hey, Dougie, do you feel like we're going to score tomorrow more than 1 or 2 or 3? Wagging his tail. I think we're going to score more than 3. He wagging his tail. Anyway, actually, more than 3 is a lot. We're going to score 3. That's my prediction, I think. Yeah. But I want to just wrap up this this preview by saying that yeah, we pretty much have to do the if I find another marker. Where's the marker? Did you steal the marker? All right, let's try this one. Let's see if we can predict the lineup. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one because obviously Varane is gone. We got Victor over there. Oh my goodness. Oh, I used a permanent one. All right, we're going to just replace it like this. We know this one is not permanent. We're going to be like, Victor plays for Varane. Casemiro. That is tricky. I feel, yeah, Scott. Scott could come in. Casemiro, Scott, and Eriksen. No Bruno because he's serving a suspension. CR7 comes in right there, obviously. Rashford on the left. And for Anthony, you already know. Alejandro Garnacho. That's the predicted 11 for me. I know it's a big choice. I actually think he might even put Anthony Alanga if he does well in training, that is. But right now, if we're using the rule of Erik ten Hag, and one of the major rules from that book of Erik ten Hag is meritocracy, Garnacho pretty much merits the chance. Okay? He merits the opportunity. And are we ever going to see what Dubravka got to offer? Or he also just came to collect the salary and help people train? That is that's a question that remains to be seen. Anyway, my goodness, this is not meant to be a very long stream like this. Yo, big up to you. Shomaful. He's like, but no Penaldo. Yo, big up to you, Shomaful. Shomaful is like, nah, I don't want no Penaldo. Yo, man, we gonna have Penaldo though. Who else? There's no senior attacker. And we need to win this. Who else? Shomaful. Who? Who are we going to put in if we don't put in Sui? You tell me, Shomaful, as we transition into this iconic celebration, man. You know what it's starting to feel like? It's starting to feel like we just transitioned straight into my favorite section of the show called Troll Time, baby. Troll Time. We're just going to start it with this. Okay. I got to show you this real quick. All right. So big shout outs to this person right here on Twitter who pretty much somebody I follow, Casey. Let's see if this is the one. so before I show the tweet, I gotta show you guys this real quick. But let's do the Jesse Marsh real quick, right? For 1 second. Hey. One more time. Let's do the Jesse Marsh. Hey. Jesse Marsh. He's showing Klopp how to play soccer now. Jesse Marsh out here with some. He's coming in. You know what's crazy? I'm really liking this Jesse Marsh story, and I'm just following it. And I like the fact the reason why I'm interested in it, and I hope that it shows other people that like football does not have a nationality. People always troll on Americans. I'm not American at all, but even though I live in America, I'm always like, why the trolling? Just because they call it soccer, oh, they don't know whatever. One day America maybe they definitely will not. You know, definitely, they most likely it's very, 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 very nearly impossible that America will win or go to the finals of the World Cup in Qatar, but they do stand a chance of winning the next one, which is going to be in the United States, and or they stand a chance of really advancing to a very, very, very high, level. That remains to be seen. For now, we just have to say, yo, Jesse Marsh, you out here. You out here showing them how to play soccer, baby. and we have to just give the flowers to our CR 700 and be like, this man's influence in football continues to grow. Look at that. This is Atlanta versus Napoli today. Look, man. Look, man. Look, man. Demeril. Look, man. Demeril is right there doing it too. And Lookman is doing it too. Serie A has been conquered. League A is next. There's going to be somebody that's going to do it. You'll see. Maybe versus PSG. If somebody ever scores versus PSG, they're going to do it. They're going to be like, do the. And what's the name of the celebration? By the way, it's becoming very iconic and very symbolic. Like, to me, it's starting to symbolize, like, if you great at something and then you go through a period where you're not good at it and then you get that thing again and do it. You know what I mean? It's starting to become a little bit symbolic in that sense. And this celebration is growing and it's becoming more and more iconic. So what is the name for it though? Is it called the because it's troll time, we're gonna say it. Somebody on Twitter said the zoo. Zoo. I thought that was funny. Zoo. The second, cheers, y'all. The second award of troll time is gonna go to oh man. We just have to say, all right, cool. So the same Twitter account pretty much that you guys gotta follow, KCJ on Twitter. That's the hookup. That's who's sponsoring today's troll time. And ladies and gentlemen, when Jesse Marsh did that, it was versus Klopp, right? But now he didn't. This time around today, he didn't do that. But like, man, the man is pulling off some results through that boy Somerville. And look at this. Isn't this ring some truth to it? Doesn't this have a little bit of truth? Like, come on now. This looks like Klopp. Anytime when that ball goes in the back of the net. in my mind, when I look at that, it feels like Klopp is saying, like in my language, he goes like, shit. Like, what is that? Hey, man. Like the teeth, like you see, like look at that. Take a read. Let me make sure this is maximized because like I could be. There we go. Yeah. Doesn't this look like Klopp? Come on now. That definitely. Anyway, yo, big shout out to you, Jurgen Klopp. You're in the mud right now, but I know you have the potential to turn it around. But also, Liverpool really in the mud though. So we just gonna say thank you for tuning in. Drink more water. Love your partner. Love your enemies. Love your frenemies. And also hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for tuning in. And also Marco Silva. Hold on. Let's stop everything. Let's give Marco Silva. There we go. I hope tomorrow or in a few hours we give a good evening his. I'm sorry. Lo siento, hermano. I gotta apologize.
I apologize.
It's the Football Power Hour. I hope you enjoy today's stream. My goodness, I didn't mean for the show to be that long. Woo-wee! Don't forget, Glazes out all day. Marco Silva